Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm taking some time out of my busy workday to smoke my Dagner Cobb. And in it, I'm smoking HH Old Dark Fired, ready rubbed. It's a gorgeous tobacco. And this is not normally the sort of thing I do. I don't like to call people out. There's a lot of YTPC drama that I just try to stay away from. But it has come to my attention that the President of the United States is calling for civil war. Know that those two statements don't automatically juxtapose very well. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but hear me out. Hear me out on this. What do we know about the president? He's a man of luxury and taste, right? And he likes cigars. What else do we know about the president? He's got plenty of time on his presidential schedule to do nothing, right? And no one can watch Fox News all day, every day. You have to have a little bit of entertainment and community in your life. It stands to reason that a man with a lot of leisure time and a lot of disposable income would be part, if he loves tobacco as he claims, would be part of the premier tobacco community on the internet. Now, I don't know which one of you that comments on my videos is actually Donald Trump, but I really appreciate you watching. However, I wanted to just say a few things, because everyone's all at Twitter about this, and we need to get this cleared up. I could have written a letter. I guess I could get online and comment at whitehouse.gov or whatever, but I thought it would be more effective to just reach out to the president through these back channel communications that we all enjoy in this community. So, Mr. President, I have a few things to say. Listen, you carpet-bagging Manhattan liberal piece of filth. I hope whatever you're smoking is strong enough to cover the putrid stench of the words falling out of your mouth. Nothing new. This is nothing new. There's all kinds of crazy rednecks on the internet agitating for a new American Civil War from the backs of their Walmart motor scooters between sips of Mountain Dew. But at least give them this. Their families were probably here for the first one, Herr Drumpf, and yours was not. It's also fair to say that their families probably didn't have enough privilege to get them out of service, and some of them aren't even here today because they died in a rice paddy in Southeast Asia while you were nursing your bone spurs. That your smoke today, whether it be a cigar or a pipe or whatever, vaping, maybe you smoke the douche flute. I don't know. Anyway, I hope it's not interrupted by the rumbling sound of millions of Civil War veterans rolling in their graves at about 5,000 RPMs at the prospect of an American president calling for a rerun. Several of those displeased dead are my ancestors. And it's fair to say that also among that rumbling cacophony is the sound of my father rolling in his grave, because you shroud your hate in the quote of some soul-sucking two-bit preacher from Dallas. Real Southern Christians, Mr. Trump, are not a fan of war, especially not the bloodiest war that's ever been fought by this great country. And we are keenly aware of what it feels like to lose such a war. Never graceful for one Christian to call out another, sir, but I would take issue with you and all your evangelical followers who are led by another two-bit preacher who had your personal fixer get rid of some photos of him, his wife, and maybe a pool boy from Miami. Oh, let's cut that. That's none of my business. Anyway, judge not, lest ye be judged. But I think that you and I, in terms of Christianity, have some doctrinal differences. You know, I've seen my hometown, and I've seen your hometown. And in your hometown, I noticed a decided lack of cemeteries out in the middle of nowhere that sprout like poppy fields with little red and blue flowers of Confederate flags. My ancestors were wrong to participate in that war, and you would be wrong to call for another one. But I understand because your family was often in Europe doing whatever the hell they were doing over there. I understand, even if you had been here, could your great-grandfather have loaded a musket with his tiny little fingers? Mr. President, I know you have some staunch supporters, but I would advise you to please take advantage of the outstanding public education in the District of Columbia. Find a community college survey history course on the American Civil War and ask yourself if true patriots would do that again for you. This time, the army in support of the president repelled the invaders and rebellious factions shouting, "Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg." Can you imagine your army of baby boomers on oxygen repelling invaders shouting, "Mar-a-Lago, Mar-a-Lago"? I don't think you can. In fact, I think you tweeted Robert Jeffrey's quote, not knowing what the hell you were talking about. Which is pretty much par for the course, and though I've spent my time on the YTPC trying to get away from political discussions, this one got me. This one got me, Mr. President. This one made me angry. President, last time you were in my little southern town where we have a monument to Robert E. Lee on our town square, at your rally, I saw some of your supporters come to the window of the building and mock the liberal protesters outside by holding up the battle flag and the Bible. Continue to be astounded, Mr. President, by my southern brethren who support you, even though you grew up in a gilded tower in Manhattan and we were all born and raised in an area that was rightfully, totally, economically, and culturally destroyed by an American Civil War. Say what you will about Tecumseh Sherman, he did indeed trample out the vintage where the grapes of wrath were stored, and things did not end well for the instigators of the last Civil War. And Mr. Trump, should you be confused about which side of history you are on, it's worth noting that things didn't exactly end well for the President of the Union either. Now, as tobacco enthusiasts, Mr. President, you and I will remember the story about a previous president, John F. Kennedy, who, before he signed the paperwork for the embargo of Cuba, had his aides go out and round up all the Cuban cigars in the District of Columbia so that he could continue to enjoy them. Mr. President, I hope for you that you are enjoying your smoke today, ill-gotten though it may be, that you enjoy the rest of your time in office and the rest of your life with your young foreign-born wife and the porn stars with whom you cheat on her. Enjoy your time as a powerful, successful man. And shut the fuck up. I know you're lurking in the YTPC comment sections out there, Mr. President. And so to you and everyone else who have just witnessed this colossal slip-up of my composure in which I have betrayed my anger to the world completely out of character, thank you for watching, and keep the ends out for the ties that bind.